Good evening. You are tuning in to AWANI Tonight with me, Cynthia Ng. The early voting process for the elections in 6 states involving over 97,000 military and police personnel as well as their spouses proceeded smoothly today. Additionally, early voting was held for the Kuala Terengganu parliamentary by-election, which concluded at 5 p.m. today. For the elections in Kedah, Kelantan, Terengganu, Penang, Selangor and Negeri Sembilan, a total of 260 early voting centres with 377 channels were open, while there were early voting centres with 5 channels specifically for the Kuala Terengganu by-election. The voter turnout had all exceeded 90% by 3 p.m. today. PKR Deputy President Rafizi Ramli and past Assistant Secretary General Muhammad Syahir Sulaiman will battle it out in a live televised debate session tomorrow, scheduled for 9:30 p.m. While the spotlight will be on the economy as they take centre stage, political analyst Mujibu Abdul Muiz points out other intriguing aspects to watch out for ahead of the highly awaited event.
We expect and economic issues will be touched throughout the debates, but somehow I don't think it's going to be the main focus on that debates, since it was done near the state elections. And of course, politically speaking, the politico-economic issues will be touched around those debates, and it will be targeted more on political sides rather than economic sides. In normal debates process, the opposition may have a good stand and of course have a better chances to attack the government. Yeah, so we expect Syahir to attack more on Rafizi, but professionally attack him on issues like policies, alternative and proposition of economic action that may come from Syahir. And we expect Syahir, as an acclaimed economist, come out with a very good idea, since Rafizi is also known as a very good orator and have won several debates with big names like Khairi Jamaluddin, Saifuddin Nasution before. So this battle between two will be highly anticipated, I believe. And of course, as a Minister of Economic, we also want to hear a new formula from him, since this kind of formula have been forwarded when he was an opposition before. So we would like to see whether he managed to come out with new ideas as ministers, and how these ideas can be put forwarded into an action. And of course, from the other side, we would like to hear from the opposition by Syahir on how to counter narrative or how to come out with another alternative to what Rafizi have proposed.
Will the debate between Rafizi and Syahir sway voters' opinion ahead of the 6 state elections? While there is a possibility that it could sway the crucial yet indecisive youth demographic, Mujibu suggests that its broader impact on the overall voting outcome might be limited.
The situation in the grassroots is very cool. It's a very quiet, simply because we expect that the voters is already decided, and there is no much movement either from the machinery of each political parties, especially in terms of Perikatan Nasional. When we talk about Malay states, Terengganu, Kelantan, Kedah. Yeah, not much campaign have been done since they went for an online campaign. And of course, this debate will, on the other side, it will put another perspective of how to reach or how to target a specific segment for the state elections. Yeah, and of course, for the young intellectual voters in these states will follow the debate thoroughly in order to listen to their respective points. But somehow, in terms of luring the votes, I don't think it's going to help much, since what I have reinstated just now, that the grassroots, the voters is already decided who's they're going to vote for the election.
Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim announced an increase of the paddy price subsidy scheme rate from 360 to 500 ringgit per ton for all paddy production effective tomorrow.
Kementerian Keuangan bersetuju menaikkan kadar subsidi yang RM360 satu metrik tan dulu, yang RM360 per metrik tan kita naikkan mulai esok naik RM500. Jadi ini kenaikan terbesar dalam sejarah. Kenaikan yang paling akhir masa Anwar Ibrahim Menteri Kewangan dulu.
With the increase, paddy farmers will receive at least 1,700 ringgit per ton of the paddy they produce. Anwar, who is also Finance Minister, said the increase in the rate will involve an annual expenditure of 1 billion ringgit. Malaysia is set to receive at least 18 million international tourist arrivals this year. According to Director General of Tourism Malaysia, Dato' Amar Abdul Ghaffar, this exceeds the initial target of 16.1 million tourists. He said the target was based on various factors, namely the increase in airline frequency, expansion of chartered operating flights, and increase in travel during year-end holidays. Anwar said Malaysia recorded 4.5 million tourist arrivals in the first quarter of 2023. He added that incentives for chartered flight operators in the country will soon be announced as a measure to boost tourism, as Malaysia cannot depend on scheduled flights alone. On Monday, the Malaysian Aviation Commission announced the approval of 57 air traffic rights applications in the second quarter of the year, with an increase of 87.5% in applications, signaling continued growth in the aviation industry. We'll go for a quick break. Stay tuned for more. Australian police have arrested 19 men allegedly involved in a child abuse ring following tips from the American FBI of an international online criminal network. They were charged with a total of 138 offences related to the distribution of encrypted child abuse images and videos on the dark web and on messaging platforms.
We assess that some of those offenders have potentially been committing offences for over 10 years. This is a peer-to-peer network, so obviously that's how we allege that these individuals were sharing child abuse material with each other.
According to Schneider, most of the suspects arrested had been employed in jobs which required advanced knowledge of internet networks. The probe began in Australia after the murder of 2 FBI agents in Florida in 2021. They were investigating child abuse in the US. The FBI then tipped off Australian police about members of a peer-to-peer network in the country allegedly sharing child abuse material on the dark web. A total of 13 children have also been rescued as a result of the probe. China has repeated its demand that the Philippines tow away a grounded warship from a disputed shoal in the South China Sea after Manila rejected Beijing's demands. Tensions between the two countries have soared following an incident over the weekend in which Chinese Coast Guard fired water cannon at Philippine vessels supplying troops stationed in the area.
The second Thomas Shoal, locally known as Ayungin, is home to a handful of troops living abroad, the former World War II-era Navy vessel, which Manila grounded there in 1999 to reinforce its sovereignty claims. Manila has repeatedly accused the Chinese Coast Guard of impeding its ability to supply its troops there by blocking resupply missions as it did on Saturday. It said the Chinese Coast Guard made dangerous maneuvers as well as targeted one of its ships with a laser. China said the incident was a warning and that it has exercised rational restraint at all times. Tensions have escalated between the two neighbors over the South China Sea under Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., with Manila pivoting back to the United States, which supports the Philippines in its maritime disputes with China.
South Korean authorities started evacuating tens of thousands of scouts from their campsite to safer areas ahead of an approaching Typhoon Kanun. The evacuation is the latest blow to the 10-day jamboree after hundreds fell ill due to a heat wave and mounting complaints from parents over its organization. The scouts, mostly teenagers, will be housed in university dormitories and public facilities in Seoul and other provinces. Earlier, the US and British Scouts contingents withdrew from the jamboree, with the British Scouts saying that poor sanitation was one of the reasons why the largest contingent decided to leave the campsite early. The Secretary General of the World Scout Organization, Ahmad Al-Hendawi, said it was the first time in more than 100 years that the organization had faced such compounded challenges. Typhoon Kanun, which has killed at least 2 people in Japan, is due to make landfall in South Korea on Thursday, near where the scouts were camping. The death toll from Nepal's annual monsoon has risen to 38, with 33 more still reported missing. Heavy rains have also caused the Bagmati River in the Kathmandu Valley to overflow, causing floods in the region that is home to about 4 million people. Rescue teams are currently searching for another 6 people who have gone missing after a landslide in a village near Kathmandu. While other landslides have blocked a major highway connecting the capital with the southern plains. The rains, which hit the Himalayan nation from June to September, result in several deaths every year. Firefighters in Portugal are battling to contain wildfires that have spread to thousands of hectares amid soaring temperatures. Near the southern town of Demerara, around 1,400 people were evacuated. The fire began on Saturday and has since spread south towards the Algarve region, one of Portugal's top tourist destinations. At least 9 firefighters have been injured tackling the fires, which had destroyed some 6,700 hectares of land. Southern European countries such as Portugal have been grappling with record-breaking temperatures, hitting as high as 46.4 degrees Celsius, the hottest of the year so far. That wraps up AWANI Tonight. I'm Cynthia Ng. Thank you for watching and good night.